Welcome. 6 years have passed since the first war between man and orc. This is Warcraft II,
army of Azeroth lay among the blackened
and it's going to tell you a story.
Of Stormwind Keep. Those that escaped fled across the Great Sea, bringing tales of the suffering they had faced at the hands of the orcish hordes.
I used to play this game so much when I was a child. I loved it so much. It was one of the ones that I really played a lot growing up. I'm sorry, I'm not sure entirely
Eager
when
to engage in battle once
gonna
again,
talk.
the orcs constructed ships of war to bear them across the Great Sea.
And I thought I'd show you the intro, because it's part of the game. Unfortunately, I can't show you the setup screen, so I can't get the, your sound card works perfectly voice
The
clip.
orcish warriors yearn for the sounds of battle to fill the air, and look to the far horizon for new blood to spill.
You know, when I was a child, this all seemed so epic.
Using the weapons forged by their
Now
new
it just
allies,
seems lame.
the humans made haste to prepare for the onslaught. While dwarven cannon were being loaded, others armed themselves with elven steel and mail.
I'm not entirely sure what the second word was there. Elven steel and what? May? Blade? Lathe?
Now, united in arms with new allies against a common foe, mankind stands at the shores of destiny and awaits the coming of the tides of darkness.
Yeah, coming back to it now that I am grown up and I've read more and I've seen more and I've watched more, it's just the most standard fantasy thing ever, isn't it? It seems kind of lame. And honestly, this whole game, from what I've seen so far, revisiting it, I haven't played much. I just downloaded it a couple days ago, and I played one custom scenario map, and I played one level of a new campaign, which is really just the tutorial, the very beginning of the tutorial levels. So, of course that's going to be simple, but even the custom scenario, which I believe makes all the text available, unlike in campaigns where, you know, in any given campaign thing, you may not have text available. Specific text. It does seem a lot simpler now that I've played things like Age of Empires, Age of Empires II, which I've been playing a lot recently. So, in a way, this really was kind of baby's first strategy, real-time strategy game. And I honestly think it was a pretty good baby's first real-time strategy game. I really loved it when I was a kid. I don't think it would have been as approachable for me if it had been more complicated. I have to admit. I was not particularly good at these games when I was young. What the? Oh no, that's a demo. It was gonna start showing me a demo battle. Well, hey, there's what the game looks like, but you'll see that soon enough. I intend to go through both campaigns in both the Tides of Darkness and Beyond the Dark Portal, if I can. I will say that because I was, you know, terrible at this when I was a child, I never actually beat them properly without cheating, because the later levels get pretty difficult, or at least they seemed pretty difficult to me when I was a child. But I'll be revisiting this game from my past and appreciating it for all its silliness and glory, and especially the fantastic music, because I think that the music for this whole series is incredibly epic. Whole series? Well, the whole game. The game has really good music. With the disc that we had at my father's house when I was a little kid, you could also put it into a CD player, and the first track would be just blank because it's a data track. But you could also play the music from the game on a CD player. There were a few other old games that we had that would do that. And included in the track list was one that is obviously never used in the game itself. It's a remix using a whole bunch of the unit's voice clips as well as a few things that they never said, like "I'm a medieval man" in the voice of the footman. I'll be playing the human campaign first for no particular reason. So let's get started, shall we?
Due to your position as regional commander of the Southern Defense Forces, Lord Terranus commands that you raise an outpost in the Hillsbrad foothills. It is rumored that Orcish marauders have been raiding coastal towns in the area, but whether these attacks are part of a greater horde offensive is as yet unknown. Your outpost is to provide food and information for Alliance troops, and as such, should be a community consisting of at least 4 farms. You must also construct a barracks in order to safeguard the Hillsbrad operation.
Okay, so, that's... I don't know whose voice that's supposed to be who's giving us instructions, but we have to construct an outpost. Oh hey, that goes away on its own if you don't tell it to go away. Huh. And this is, of course, the first map, so it's going to be the simplest. It's the beginning of a tutorial. The tips screen comes up and kind of pauses the game for you again anytime you start, unless you uncheck this. I think I'll leave it there for now. Most commands in the game have hotkeys. These keys are denoted by the highlighted letter in the text of the command. Okay. Now, this is going to be a very, very simple map, so I can show you some basic controls. You can tell your units to move around by just right-clicking on the map or using the move command, which is kind of important because if you use the move command, they will just move. If you use the attack command, they will start attacking anything if an enemy, if they come within sight of an enemy. Now, I'm using my peasant here to just explore around for no real reason, except to show you that you can do it. They also have various things that they can say if you click on them.
Yes? What is it? What is it?
This is apparently one of the most beloved features of the Warcraft and Starcraft and Thing series in general.
Oh, what? Uh-huh. Now what? More luck? Leave me alone. I don't want to do this. I'm not listening. What is it?
Those last two sounds
Yes, me lord.
were just about my favorite things about this game when I was a kid. It came with a soundbox kind of thing, soundboard I suppose, a program by which you could play any of the standard sound effects in the game, including their voice clips, including the sounds that they make when they attack something, they're clashing and smashing, including death sounds or the sound of a building being destroyed, all sorts of things like that. And I used to love those two voice clips. I don't want to do this, and I'm not listening, and I used to mimic them enough that I actually became somewhat good at it. Now, unlike Age of Empires specifically, and some other real-time strategy games, I presume, the peasants, critters, low-level villager, whatever the fuck they are, these ones are peasants. They... I'm losing track of what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I'm kind of, my mind is wandering. If they start a project, they vanish from the map, and they are just in the project that they're doing. So if they're mining, they're inside the gold mine. If they are depositing goods, they are inside the town hall. If they're building a structure, they are inside the structure, and this sometimes makes it difficult to select them if they are doing something, because you have to wait for them to come out. Another notable difference that makes this perhaps a little less advanced than Age of Empires is that you can't queue anything. I don't have enough gold for that right now anyway, but even if I did, if I had enough gold for 2 peasants, I would not be able to queue more than 1 peasant, so you have to come back and keep doing it all manually. All the training that you want to do, and all of the, all of the everything that you want to do, really. If you want to upgrade stuff, if you want to build stuff, you have to do it all manually. It won't make anything automatic, which in a way makes it much simpler.
Yes?
Because you don't have those advanced commands at your disposal, you just have to do it by yourself, which is kind of inconvenient, but it is simple, and it's not It's not terribly inconvenient, I
At your
suppose I was going to say.
service.
Now, this map is not completely without enemies, but there are just a few orcish grunts who are standing around, and they won't look for you, they'll just stand there so that if you were going to explore your peasants around the map and the area wasn't safe, like this area over here was, then they would cause you some trouble. However, I do have 3 footmen,
Yes.
and I can seek out my enemies with these 3 footmen, and they will outnumber them.
Yes.
The footmen and the grunts are...
Yes.
They're pretty much equivalents of one another. I am not sure whether there's any statistical differences, except that obviously
As
one
you
is
wish.
human and one is orc,
Yes, my lord.
and they
At
are
once, sire.
opposing factions and blah blah
At
blah blah blah.
once, sire. As you
Now we
wish.
have 2 orcs at once, so this is going to get one of my guys
At once, sire.
hurt more badly. It is possible
Your orders.
to
Your orders.
avoid actually taking any
As you
losses in
wish.
this map, and pretty much that's
Yes,
how.
sire. At
Once
once,
someone
sire.
gets
Yes.
substantially wounded, don't
As you wish.
bring them into any more battles. Of course, that means
As
they're
you
also
wish.
useless.
As
And,
you wish.
you know, losing units kind of costs you score. I don't remember,
At once,
because,
sire.
yeah, how much I know about this game that I played in my childhood. I don't actually remember whether there's a way to heal one.
Yes.
If there is, it probably doesn't come up until later.
As you wish.
I think there's a
As you wish.
spellcaster that may be able to do something like that. Oh, jeez. And here's me completely failing to... You can't automatically make them go anywhere either, so I'm right-clicking on this, and it's not
Your
going to-
orders. As you wish.
send the peasant anywhere as soon as it
once,
gets
sire.
created. It'll just sit there at the town hall until you give it something to do.
Yes.
So,
Yes, my lord.
you kind of have to micromanage things a little bit more in
At
this game.
once, sire.
If you're used
Yes,
to
yes.
Age of Empires or whatever, giving you handy-dandy shortcuts, well, this gives you some shortcuts, but not those. Now, there's also a gold mine down here, which I didn't click on while I had anybody there,
Your
but
command.
if I had, I'll send
At
someone down there,
once, sire.
it would have told me that it has 5,000 gold. All of these mines, they don't have very many resources, because you don't need very many resources, because this is the first map.
Righto.
All you need to do is build a few buildings. It
Alright.
would technically, I suppose, be possible to fail, so 5,000 gold,
Your
At
command.
once, sire.
if
As
you
you
just messed around and built
As you
things and
wish.
used up all your gold without building the buildings you're meant to. I suppose you could use it all up on farms. And then you wouldn't be able to build the barracks, and then you would be sad. Or you could use it all up on constructing peasants, I guess.
Yes, me lord.
Okay, now, since
Hello.
gather resources,
Righto.
or harvest lumber / mine gold, is one command. I think that has something to do with it.
What is it?
If the peasants...
Yes, me lord.
If a gold mine collapses, because it's out of gold, which is what happens, it just collapses, while the
Yes.
peasants are still assigned to it, they will chop lumber if there's any lumber nearby for them to go to. They consider it the same task, so they'll just continue harvesting a different resource if it's in the same area. If they are out of resources in their immediate vicinity, which I think is just
Hello.
how much space around them they can see,
What is it?
then they will just
Righto.
stand there and act silly and stupid because they have no guidance and they're peasants and they don't know what to do if you don't tell them what to do. Makes sense, I suppose. If I wanted these guys to obtain lumber, it would also be faster for them to obtain it from over here, so I'm going to tell that guy to come over and do that.
Okay.
But he's already working on that, so I'll leave him be.
Righto.
Find myself talking too
My
much.
lord. Your orders.
I'm always so
Your
self-conscious when I do
service.
this kind of thing.
Lord.
Harvesting lumber takes substantially longer than mining gold. I am not entirely sure why. It's just part of the game balance, I suppose. I could build another town hall, but I don't need to. I need to build a barracks, for which I actually already have all the resources I need. So let's just go ahead and win this map. I also have speed commands, which I never used when I was a kid, but as you can see now, everyone's running around at hyperspeed, and this is going faster. Everything will be going faster. And if that ever gets too hectic, or if the regular speed ever gets too hectic, I can actually slow it down to a complete crawl as well, just with keyboard shortcuts. minus and a plus up on the number strip at the very top. Not a numpad because I have those used for my, I have those set to my recording pause and stop recording buttons, and I don't want to mess with that. For now, let's just leave it about there. You can set the scroll speeds as well. And just speed this up to max speed for now, because I'm just waiting for this thing to complete and there's nothing else to do.
Job's done.
Job's done! Yay!
Yes. Alright.
And there's a little bit of a lag associated with this, but eventually the game will realize that I've done everything it asked me to, and declare me victorious. Now this is where I can save the game, which I believe I will do. LP1. You never know how many of these slots I'm going to go, and then it takes me directly to victory, which is where we would have gone if I had clicked victory. And it will give you all sorts of stats, and give you a rank and a score. I have no idea whether how much time you took to complete the thing has anything to do with this, or whether it's just other factors. For now, I will leave it here, and we'll resume on this screen to be debriefed again by the mysterious voice of the human commander.